Uh-huh. I think the most important thing is purpose. Purpose, purpose, purpose. Purpose aligns everything. You've got to know what your higher purpose is. Whole Foods has some distinct higher purposes. When we started the business, good God, before most of the people here were born, I'm embarrassed to say, our higher purpose was very simple. We wanted to sell healthy food to people, earn a living, and have fun. Now, those purposes still exist at Whole Foods, but they've evolved. We've gotten more sophisticated about it. Now, our higher purpose is to try to help people to be healthier. I mean, do you realize how sick people are? I mean, I don't know what the statistics are in Canada. They're better than they are in the United States, but they're not that much better. 69% of adults in America are now overweight. 36% are obese. 80% of the money that Americans spend on health care go for diseases like heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, autoimmune diseases, and cancer that are fundamentally dietary and lifestyle diseases. So one of our higher purposes is simply to help people, to educate people how to eat healthily and to have a healthy lifestyle, and then to provide the food so they can do that. Secondly, Whole Foods is very committed to sustainable agriculture. We want to transform the agricultural system. We want seafood to be sustainable. We want a higher degree of welfare towards livestock animals. We want agriculture to be productive and yet also have a high degree of environmental sustainability to it. Thirdly, our company is very committed to wiping out poverty. Our whole Planet Foundation is dedicated to that, and we're very proud of the efforts we've made there. And fourth, I'm doing it right here, right now. We want to change the way people think about business and capitalism. So those are kind of Whole Foods' higher purposes at this point. Purpose aligns all the stakeholders together. It keeps everybody moving forward. So if you can discover your higher purpose and live it, that will help move and keep the organization moving forward. Yes.
Yeah, you probably know them well. Were you inspired by any of those earlier companies to around your something a little bit different?
Well, sure. I mean, we've been influenced by lots of companies, and not necessarily those two, but some of the ones we talk about in the book, like Southwest Airlines, is a very old, conscious company. Some of the younger ones coming up, like Google, is very inspiring. The REI, Costco, the Container Store, these are companies that have had an influence on me, and I think on Whole Foods as well. So it's not we make a distinction in the book between social responsibility and being conscious business. Because social responsibility just takes the old traditional business model of profit maximization and then grafts onto it sort of a social environmental ethos to it. And a lot of that's greenwashing, because they don't fundamentally transform the essence of the company. And conscious capitalism is different because it takes social and environmental responsibility and puts it at the core mission of why the organization exists. That's the difference. Ben & Jerry's always had this problem of their product, if used as intended, causes heart disease. So they're, yeah.
You know what, I eat ice cream.
Good luck with that.
I came in with a quick thing. But I mean, I don't have heart disease. I've got really low cholesterol.
Well, I hear you. Ben Cohen know how to triple bypass. So. Sure. You look like you're taking good care of yourself. So occasionally, hey, we sell ice cream at Whole Foods. So, but we're not hanging our hat on that one. So we're. I think I'll just back out of this before I say something and it'll be in the newspapers and I'll be defending and apologizing for it. Any other questions? Yes. The best business mistake? Well, the funny thing about mistakes is that mistakes help us learn. They help us you become wise by making mistakes and then learning from them. So most of my biggest mistakes at Whole Foods have been people mistakes. And I also tend to think people's weaknesses come out of their strengths. One of my strengths is I really believe in people. And most people really want to perform at a high level if they're working closely with me because they don't want to disappoint me. And so that really helps lift people to a higher level. The weakness that comes out of that is I'm often blind to people's failings, and sometimes I've waited way too long to make decisions on people who are way over their heads. So, but I've learned a lot from that. One thing I've learned is that I need a lot of help from other people when you do promotions, because those are such important decisions. And I never make those decisions by myself any longer. I always have a team to try to get consensus around it. I mean, I made some mistakes we bought this vitamin company back in 1997 that turned out to be a disaster. That cost the company a ton of money. That was the biggest financial mistake we've ever made. And but I learned a big lesson from that one too. Don't buy vitamin companies. Next question.
Can you share your link between eating whole foods and development and attainment of emotional and spiritual intelligence?
Your question is, how does what you eat affect your emotional and spiritual intelligence? It's a good question. I've never really thought about it. I'm not sure. I mean, I think you could argue that your diet affects your spiritual intelligence to a certain extent. You can have a much more compassionate diet, and that does indicate a level of spiritual development. But I've known some pretty high spiritual people who ate terrible diets, so they weren't. Spiritual intelligence takes many different. It's not one size doesn't fit all. So, and I don't know how it fits in with emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is basically your own level of self-awareness combined with your degree of empathy and compassion and care for others. I will tell you one thing that's pretty interesting is I've been married for 23 years, and I've come reluctantly and kicking to the conclusion that on average most women have a much higher degree of emotional intelligence than men do. And this is a very good thing. Oh, some fascinating statistics now that I'm on that theme. We found this out researching our book. Again, I don't know Canadian statistics, but I'll bet it's very similar. In the United States, 60% of all the people in college now are women. They're getting 60% of all college degrees. They're getting 70% of all the advanced degrees. 70%. Women are taking over medicine, law, accounting, education, and pretty much everything but engineering and the military, which are, and this is a very good thing because, and also 40% of all privately owned businesses now are owned by women, and 70% of startups. Women are entrepreneurs. They're creating these amazing startup businesses. So this is a very good thing because of superior emotional intelligence, superior communication skills. We have a great chance for love to get out of the closet and transform our organizations. So, men tend to speak in war metaphors. We're going to so kill those guys. They're dead meat. Let's roll. Survival of the fittest metaphors. Only paranoid survive. Kill or be killed. I mean, those are not the best metaphors for creating a conscious business around, frankly. They don't make for a really satisfying culture. Okay, any other questions? Yep. Oh, no GMO bill got passed. That failed. Yeah. The big bucks came out at the end and it narrowly defeated. However, we got another one going in Washington. That one might get by. Joe's working on that one big time. Well, what Whole Foods is doing is we've decided that our customers really want to have Whole Foods is committed to transparency. So we're going to be transparent about labeling, and so we're going to have we'll have milestones along the way, but we've got like 100,000 suppliers, so it's going to take a while to get everybody converted over, but we will have transparency. Whatever the federal governments do, Whole Foods are going to have transparency about GMOs. And since I have a feeling very few suppliers are going to want to have GMOs on their products at Whole Foods, I suspect a lot of them are going to find new supply chain. It's one of the reasons it needs a little time where these guys can convert over. So that's what we're doing. We're pretty excited about it.
Do you work with local charities at all? I noticed, I mean, I come here probably 2 times a day, but I don't know what local charities or local incentives.
Her question is, does Whole Foods work with local charities? And that's a resounding yes. Our company gave away 10% of our profits last year, and about 20% of that was done on our global basis with our foundations, the Whole Planet Foundation, the Whole Kids Foundation. But 80% of it is done locally in the stores. So our stores tend to network with a variety of local nonprofits, and I don't know who this store is working with, but I'm sure they do 5% days, and I'm sure they're supporting dozens and dozens, if not potentially hundreds of local nonprofits.